Welcome everyone to today's indoor walking class. So firstly, the benefits of walking is that it helps to release our natural endorphins when we walk for at least half an hour, and then it helps with our joint lubrication and weight bearing through our joints, which is important to keep our joints nourished. Another thing about the endorphins is that it actually helps to reduce our pain, it helps to reduce our stress, and it is important just for general health. So this is actually one of the classes that we incorporate into the movement program. We have a 6-week movement program on a Monday from 4 to 5 at Pain Panorama. So if you are interested in that, please let us know, and the details will be in the description. And then just about today's class, a bit of a breakdown is that we're going to start with a warm-up, as it's important to just warm up our muscles to prime the muscle connections. We're going to go into a half an hour of non-stop walking with variations, and then we're going to go into a cool down with stretching. So just some tips to take note of before you start the class. Just make sure that you have drank enough water, that you have eaten something at least half an hour before, a light snack. And then just to take note of the certain positions that we want to walk in. So when we're thinking of walking, we're keeping our chest straight up, we're keeping our bum nice and tight, and we're focusing on keeping that position the whole time. This position, we would like to prevent that so that we can work on our hip extension. Then from the front, I want you to walk with your knees outwards and to prevent our knees knocking inwards. If you feel that any of the variations are too difficult, you can use a chair, and you can walk like this if it's a forward exercise, and if it comes to more of a sideways exercise, you can use the chair to balance. If any of the variations are too difficult, even with the chair, you can just walk normally in between as you wait.
Let's get warmed up. We're going to start with neck circles. You're going to go in as big as a range that you can, and the more you do it, you will feel that your neck will start to loosen up. And then we're going to change directions. We're going to do some shoulder rolls, bringing the shoulders high up to the ears, and as you're circling down, you're bringing your shoulder blades all the way down to your hips. And then we're going to go forward. This is important just to get our scapula moving. Going into big, wide arm circles. Just do the movement as big as you can, or as small as you need to. Put your hands on your hips, and we're going to stretch from side to side. You're going to feel a nice deep stretch in the side muscles, even into your lats as you put your arm over the head. Just go as far as you can. Gonna go into hip rolls, and try and focus on how your hips are moving separately to your back. Focus on also using the small abdominal muscles to get that movement, and change direction. I'm going to do some ankle circles just to prime those ankle muscles for the walking class. And some wrist circles. You're interlacing your fingers. And some hamstring scoops. So this one you can go just to where you can, remembering that if you ever need a chair during any of the movements, that you're more than welcome to use one. Going into a calf active stretch. This is to prime those calf muscles for all the walking we're going to do. And to the other side, using a chair if you need to. Alright, let's get started with the walking section. So we're just going to start off with a nice paced walk. Remember that you don't have to follow at the speed that I'm going. If you would like to go slower or if you'd like to go faster, that is up to you. Going into side step taps, trying to make sure that you're keeping a slight bend in your knee. So I like to call them have a bit of soft knees, and that just makes sure that we're engaging our stability muscles in the knee as well as keeping our glutes active. And back to regular walking. Just a reminder that at any point, if you feel that the variation of walking is too difficult, you can continue with the normal walking on the spot. Now we're going to do a double side step and tap. Going at your own pace, trying to have wider steps if you're able to. And back to walking. You might feel that your heart rate has gone up a little bit, that you're breathing a bit more deeply. And we're going to go into some standing hamstring curls. Trying to bring the heel as close to the buttocks as possible and keeping your hips nice and straight and preventing your chest from coming forward. So only bend the knee to where you feel you're able to without letting your chest drop. And let's walk again. Noticing how your hips and your back are moving, like a little bit of a slight rotation from between the upper body and the lower body, just as when you walk, when your arms swing and your right arm swings with your left leg. Going into a bigger hamstring curl with a slight bend within the knee, and we're going to pull back with the arms as the knee bends. Thinking of keeping those soft knees throughout the movement, even when coming up onto the straightened leg, keeping that little bit of a soft knee. And going back to walking. Everyone is doing so well. Okay, so we're going to push our arms up and then out to the side as we take our steps. Bring your arms up just to where you can. If you need to go lower at the beginning, that is alright. Go according to your own pace. And back to walking. Well done. If you need a rest at any point, feel free to pause the video, go grab some water, or you can even sit on a chair and still do some marching on the spot while you're sitting. Okay, so now we're going to do a bounce side to side, keeping those soft knees. It's almost like a small squat, and keeping those knees over the second toe, making sure that the knees do not fall inwards and that your hips are staying nice and straight with a little bit of a rotation during the movement. And back to normal walking. Okay, now we're going to go to our side hip abductions. So what we want to think of is keeping our feet facing forward the whole time, or our toes. So making sure that we don't rotate our hip outwards to the ceiling. We want you to feel the side bum muscles almost burning, then you know it's working. Let's go to a normal walk. Okay, and we're just going to do a small little kick forwards, keeping those knees soft and getting a little bit of a rotation in your upper body. Back to normal walking. Okay, we're going to do some high knees. Try and bring them up as high as you can. Just go to where you're able to. Notice we're getting a little bit of rotation in the upper body. And controlling the leg down. You don't want to hear your foot dropping down to the floor. It needs to go down softly. And to normal walking. Okay, so we're going to do crossover leg raises. Thinking of keeping your stomach muscles as tight as possible, getting a rotation through the spine and controlling the leg down back onto the ground, keeping those soft knees. Good job. Back to normal walking. And crossover knee taps. Thinking of the same movement of getting that rotation through the spine, keeping your soft knees. And go to normal walking. Then we're going to go into crossover knee taps with our arms lifted, so we're getting a little bit more of a stomach activation. And back to normal walking. And do some little arm circles. Trying to keep the shoulders sort of in a T position if you're able to. Otherwise, if you need to go a little bit lower, that is also alright. And back to our normal walking. You may feel that you're starting to really build up a sweat here. And we're going to do some side to side crossover heel taps, thinking of controlling those inner thigh muscles so that your standing leg doesn't fall inwards. And back to our normal walking. So we're going to go and cross over, walk to the side, but I want your leg to come forwards. So this might feel a little bit tricky, really targeting some of those balance techniques. Remember, if this is currently too difficult, you can leave the cross over out, or you can just walk on the spot. And back to our normal walking. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to take the leg to the back instead of the front now, challenging a little bit more of your coordination and your balance. Remember to go at the pace that you are able to. And back to normal walking. Okay, now we're going to walk on our heels. This is really going to work those front ankle muscles, which are really good for our stability. But you'll notice that it challenges your balance as well. Remember that if you need to use a chair to hold onto for support, that is perfect. And back to normal walking. Now we're going to go onto our toes. So as you can see, we're still keeping a bend in our knees and keeping those heels as high off of the ground as we possibly can. And back to normal walking. Okay, so now we're going to go a few steps to the front. So you're going to start with your left leg. So 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap. Well done. And just continue with that motion. And back to normal walking. We're going to repeat the same movement on the right side. So starting with the right leg. If you're not going to the beat of the music, that is all right. And to normal walking. Okay, we're going to do some arm punches to the front, trying to keep your shoulders in line with each other and as high as possible. To normal walking.
I'll be waiting outside. A little bit tongue-tied.
Okay, we're going to do some crossover punches. This is really going to get your core muscles working. It's going to get some coordination and rotation into your spine. And we're getting a good bend into the knees. Remember your soft knees. And normal walking. Okay, we're going to do overhead arm pulses. You might feel that your arms are getting a little bit of a burn. That's great. Back to normal walking. Okay, so we're gonna step side to side again, but we're doing a bit of a bigger lunge. Coming up and tapping the toe on the floor. If this is too much of a bigger lunge for you at the moment, go a little bit smaller. And normal walking. We're going to be doing some back hip extensions, making sure that our chest does not fall forward, and still keeping those soft knees when your leg is on the floor. I'd rather you lift your leg up lower and keep the chest up, thinking of activating those glutes. Back to normal walking. Okay, so we're going to do, I like to call them around the world with your hips. So you're going to think of getting a big rotation movement. And remember, if you need to use a chair for support, that is perfectly okay. And normal walking. Okay, so we're going to step out to the side using our arms as well, kind of like a bird flapping its wings, and just getting a natural soft bend into the knees while we do this. And normal walking. Okay, so we're going to go back to our hip abductions. It might feel a little bit more difficult now. You've done a lot more with your body and we're challenging our muscles a little bit extra. You're doing so well. And we're almost there. Back to normal walking. Well done, everyone. Okay, so we're gonna do some hamstring scoops, similar to what we did in the warm-up. And you're scooping as low as you can, just to where you're able to, and keeping a nice bend in your knees. And back to normal walking. Okay, so we're going to do some side reach overs with this one. It's a little bit challenging. We're going to lift the leg off of the floor as well. If you're unable to do this at the moment, you can still stretch over, but then keep the leg on the floor. Well done, everyone. Back to normal walking. And we're just going to continue this for a minute now. You can slow down your pace, and just for our heart rate to return a little bit more to rest as we prepare for our cool down. Notice that you might feel quite tired, that your heart is beating fast, your lungs are working wonderfully, and that's when we get our really nice endorphin release, releasing our natural painkillers from our brain. Well done, everyone. Let's go into the cool down, remembering the importance to always stretch after exercise to aid in muscle recovery. We're going to pull our head to the one side with our arm behind our back, feeling a nice stretch on the side of the neck. And then we're going to go to the other side, repeating the same movement. Grab behind your head and pull your chin to your chest as far as you can. If you're not able to touch your chin to your chest, that is okay. Just do it in a comfortable range. We're going to do a crossover arm stretch, feeling a stretch around the shoulder blade area or in the front of the arm, and taking nice deep breaths in between. And to the other side. Going to an overhead tricep stretch. You're going to grab onto the elbow of your opposite arm and pull your arm back as far as you can. And to the other side. We're going to go to a side back stretch with our feet nice and wide to keep our balance. Think of opening up your ribs, feeling a deep stretch into the side of your lower back. And going to the other side. Take a deep breath, and as you breathe out, try and stretch a little bit further. We're going to go into our quadricep stretch. This is to stretch out the hip flexors and the quadriceps. We've done a lot of walking today, so it's important to stretch these muscles out. If you are doing it in standing, you are more than welcome to also stand and hold onto a chair, if this makes it a bit easier or makes you feel like you have more balance. Going into a calf stretch, same thing applies. You can hold onto a chair if you're doing the standing version. Trying to straighten your knee hard as possible to feel a greater stretch in your calf muscle, and trying to bring the heel to the floor as much as you can. It might feel a bit different in the sitting position. Going into a scooped hamstring stretch, noticing that I'm keeping my back nice and straight, trying not to scoop the back at all, and keeping the knee as straight as possible. I'm going to go into a figure 4 stretch, helping to stretch out those buttocks muscles, and the same thing, trying to keep the back as straight as possible to get a bigger stretch through the hips. If you are in a seated position, you can use your hand to push down onto your knee for a bigger stretch. We're going to go into a time of breathing now. Sit in a comfortable position on your chair. If you need to lie back and rest your back against the chair, that's perfect. If you feel like you are struggling to relax in this position, feel free to lie down, either on a mat or on the couch. Place your hands on your rib cage, and I want you to take a deep breath in for 4 seconds. Hold it at the top for 4 seconds and breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds and hold it there. Think of how your body is feeling now compared to when we started. Possibly thank your body for doing what it did today. You may have surprised yourself. You may have noticed that you were a bit stiffer than you thought you were. You may have noticed that you could do more than you thought you could. And whichever response that you are feeling right now, that is okay. Noticing those thoughts without any judgment and being curious about it. Lastly, thanking your body, thanking yourself for showing up today and completing this walking class. Whether you were able to complete 5 minutes, 10 minutes, full half an hour, however much you were able to complete is a job well done.